Hi, we're going to make this Springy pop-up bow card. This is an unusual fun fold and definitely something for someone special. Hi, and welcome to Lisa's Stamp Studio. I'm Lisa Curcio. This beautiful fun fold card has lots of pop-up action to it, and you're not going to want to miss the other samples I'm going to share with you. I've also got a template in my free project sheet that's linked down in the video description for you below. That's going to lead you over to the pictures, cutting dimensions, and all the supplies that I've used. All right, we're ready. Let's get started. You'll need two pieces of 5" by 7". We're going to do two score lines. The first is at 3 3/8 of an inch. I'm using the straight ledge here at the top, and then we're going to use the light blade for scoring. Then we're going to move it over to 3 5/8 of an inch, and we are going to score. And you'll do that on both of them. We're going to turn the cardstock. I'm going to make sure that I crease on these so that you can see them a little bit better. I do recommend that you crease them in both directions to break down the fibers. I find that makes it a little bit easier to assemble, and it's going to make it easier for you to see where those crease lines are. With the crease lines horizontal, we are going to line up the left-hand side at the 1" mark. So I'm using that straight edge here at the top. And then right here on the inside of my track, where I know the blade would typically cut or score, I'm using it just for measuring, which is one reason I love the paper trimmer. I'm using a mechanical pencil. This is one of my very favorites. You'll find that linked for you in my website under Shop Craft Room Favorites. So I'm drawing a line there. I'm drawing it heavier than I normally would because I want to make sure you can see it. I'm going to flip it. I'm going to line up the other end now, closing that track, and we'll draw a pencil line down the track once again. I'm going to hold this up so that you can see them. They're here where my nails are. The reason I went all the way through it is because the center line here needs to be straight. Now you can do the cutting using your paper trimmer, which is what I love to do because it creates a really nice straight line. I'm going to simulate that for you on the first one. So I am going to pivot this so it's going to fall within the dark strip of the cutting blade. I'm making sure that that mark is going to align right inside the cutting track here. And then I'm going to pivot the bottom. Once I'm happy with it, I'll take that dark blade and I am going to slice up to the crease line. You can almost feel it with the cutting blade. I'm going to turn it now because we've already got this one cut, and now we're going to do the other angle. So from the crease line down to the lower left corner. I'm looking through it to make sure that pencil mark and the tip are perfectly aligned. And then once again, we are going to slice. That has now left us with this. If you don't want to use your paper trimmer, it is a lot faster if you use your scissors. So let me show you how I did that. I'm going to take a pair of long tip scissors and I'm going to come up in here and I'm going to cut straight on that pencil line. I'm going to pivot this, and this time instead of using the trimmer, I'm going to use my scissors. I'm going to give you a couple tips. You're going to want to start your scissors right down here in the corner, and you're looking to align the top of the tip of your scissors so it's going to reach that crease mark. So I'm going to open up the blade of the scissors, and I'm going to place them in here, and I'm going to go straight up until the crease line. Once I'm there, I can mimic that straight line in the center, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pivot it because I find that's easier than me going backwards and doing the same thing here. So from the outside corner, looking at the tip of my scissors to try to make sure it's going to reach that crease line, and then we're going to cut. As I mentioned, you're going to need to make two of those, which I have here. The center bow measures 5" by 6". So with the 6" area across the top, we're going to do two score lines at 2 7/8 of an inch, and the next one at 3 1/8 of an inch. With the crease lines in place, we are going to turn it so that the lines are horizontal. And just like we've done before, we're going to line this at the 1" mark. We are going to close this and we're going to make a line right through here. We're going to open it and pivot it, and we're going to do the exact same thing. And then once again, like we've done before, we are going to cut from the outside corner up to the crease on both of these. The front bow is 5" by 5". We're going to line it up at 2 3/8 of an inch, and we are going to score, and then at 2 5/8 of an inch, and we're going to score. And we're going to do the exact same thing that we've done once before. Once you have the crease lines made, go ahead and line it up at the 1" mark, and then cut your bow shape. We have our three sizes. So the rear bow, the center bow, and the front bow. And now let's cut the designer series paper. You'll need 2 of these, 1 for each side of the bow. These measure 3 1/8 by 4 5/8. All of the lengths are 4 5/8 of an inch. So keep that in mind as you go ahead and cut paper that might be directional. Very much like we've done before, we're going to make tick marks so that we can cut that angle. This time the tick mark is going to be at 7/8 of an inch. So I'm going to line that up here, making sure it's nice and straight here against the top. I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to come right inside the track. I am now going to open it and I'm going to pivot it to do the other side at 7/8 of an inch. This time you're going to notice that the tick mark is all the way here at the bottom. Now I know that might be difficult to see on camera, but it's right where my nail is. So we're going to make the tick mark here at the bottom so that they're both on the same side. Once that's finished, all we have to do now is cut from the tick mark to the point, and you can do that with your paper trimmer, or of course you can do that with your scissors. We have our 2 pieces. Let's move over to the center bow. This piece of designer series paper measures 2 5/8 by 4 5/8. Again, you're going to need 2, 1 for each side of the bow. Just like we've done before, we're going to line it up at the 7/8 inch mark. We're going to make a tick mark here. I'm going to pivot it. Of course, you can use a ruler if that's easier for you. I just love to use my paper trimmer. It just eliminates me needing other tools. And again, since my tick mark is right here at the bottom, I'm going to go ahead and I'll make another one. Now, all I'm going to do is cut this once again, just like I've done before. And these are the 2 pieces for the center bow. Finally, 2 for the front bow. This measures 2 1/8, again by 4 5/8. We're going to tick mark at 7/8 of an inch on both sides. Here are the 2 pieces for the front bow. We have these 2 pieces for the front, these 2 pieces for the center, and then finally the last 2 pieces that are going to go here. I'm going to use the reversible tweezers just to extend my reach, and I'll add liquid glue around the outside perimeter. Don't miss those corners. Now that we have our 3 bow pieces, we're going to assemble them together. Lay the largest one down on your work surface. I'm using the silicone craft sheet underneath me since liquid glue, hot glue, and adhesive will not stick to it. You're going to take the center one and you're going to fold it in half, and there is a spine here. We're going to add a strip of liquid glue right down here. You're looking to align the spines together. I'm checking the crease to make sure that it's in the same place, looking here and here to make sure there's just equal margin between the layers, and then we're going to press that in place. When it's dry, you should be able to fold this one over and give it a good crease. That's going to make sure that it's near the crease line. That's going to keep the spines together. Now we're ready to do the front one. Once again, you're going to fold this. You're going to place liquid glue on the spine. You're going to align these crease lines to these crease lines here. So I'm hovering over the top and giving it a good look. Once I'm happy with it, I'm going to look here and here to make sure that I have equal space. And then you're just going to press that in place. Once this is dry, you should be able to fold that back and crease on the spine. It's going to be a little bit thicker near the center, and that's typical because of the layers of the cardstock. Now that it's finished, you're going to notice that all these pieces are floating. The next thing we're going to do is work on the pop-up mechanism. The pop-up mechanism is going to be the same color as your cardstock bow pieces. This is 1 inch by 1 1/2 inch. We're going to score it a 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch, and then finally 1 inch. Once you're done with it, you're going to make a mountain, valley, mountain, so that you have what looks like a letter W. You are going to need a total of 6 of these for this card. We're going to take the first one and we're going to pivot it so that the raw ends are to the spine of the actual card. We're going to flip it upside down. We've added our liquid glue. We are going to fold this back. Remember, the raw ends are going to be to the center. You're going to position this right here in the middle visually, and you're going to press that in place. Once that's stuck, we're going to go ahead and add a little bit more liquid glue to the other side. Go ahead and close the front flap on top of it and press it in place. You'll see that those are connected here. Let's go ahead and let's turn it one more time, and we're going to work on this next section. Again, raw sections to the inside of the spine, flipping it over to add liquid glue to the back side. This now is just visually going to go right here in the center, and you're going to press. We'll add liquid glue to this panel. and then we're going to close it. Once those are dry, you'll see that the two pop-up mechanisms are there. We're going to do the exact same thing now on this side. When the bow is all put together, it's going to look like this. It will stand on its own, but you're going to have to push out the back panels to make it stand. So I decided to create one more panel, which is the second one we cut of the actual back piece, so that it will have better stability. Before we do that, which is what these are going to be used for, let's work on the center of the pop-up mechanism. This piece measures 1 by 2 3/4. We are going to score at 1/2 inch, 1 1/4 inch, 1 1/2 inch, and then 2 1/4 inch. This time they're all going to be mountain folds. You're going to fold them all back. Coming back here to the card base, this little center area right here is what's going to hold your images or your greeting. And I have variations for you. These two outside panels are going to be for your liquid glue. These score lines are going to match up to the score lines in the center of the card right here. Let's flip this over and let's add our liquid glue to those back panels. With the glue in place, we're looking to align these crease lines to those right here in the center of the card. So I'm aligning these crease lines to this and this to this. Once it's dry, you'll be able to pick it up and you'll be able to close it, which you'll see creates this area, which makes it look like it's floating. Before we do that, let's flip it upside down. This is the piece that's going to give it stability. This is that exact duplicate piece we already created. I decorated it ahead of time, same exact dimensions. The only difference was that I put white cardstock here and I did a little bit of die cutting and embellishing here. Once again, with the spine folded pieces together, we're going to add some liquid glue up to center. Just like we've done before, this is going to line up to the creases on the piece underneath it. You're looking to align this piece so it's as close to the one behind it. Once this is dry, you'll see that this piece duplicates the size of this one that's towards the front of the card. These last two pop-up mechanisms are going to go between these two panels. Now that those are dry, we're going to go ahead and open this up, and you can see that this back panel is going to provide just the right stability for the front. And the reason I like that is because it's going to allow this image here or the greeting to be able to stand up and pop out so that it's floating. Let's go ahead and let's add that now. I'm using the Heirloom Bloom dies. I've die cut some pieces from varying colors to match the designer series paper. That's the beauty of Stampin' Up! Products, is that color coordination. All I did was assemble the pieces together by gluing them, and they're going to get suspended right here in that small little section, which means it's going to bend and move forward. I'm going to add a little glue down here in this small area. I'm going to take my image and it's going to float over the top. Remember, you've got up to 5 inches here, which is going to allow you to cascade the image up and down a little bit past the center of the bow. It will go flat, which is perfect for this to go in a 5 by 7 envelope, which I created using the envelope punch board. I'll make sure I link that for you inside the project sheet. Once it's dry, I'll go ahead and I'll set it up so that you can see it. I'll push this forward, which means the image is now suspended, and you've got all the little pop-up mechanisms here. Adding that back panel will allow that image to come more forward, which is what I really, really love, and it gives it great stability. Finally, I want to do just a couple more things. I made a greeting here. I'm going to flip that upside down. I've added dimensionals to the back side. I'm removing the paper backings, and I'm going to center my greeting here across the flowers. My final step was completely optional, and I added some beautiful gold sequins, which will be this card that's inside your project sheet. It plays up that beautiful gold foil, which is also in the designer series paper, as well as the center of my flowers. Let me show you those other cards I created for you. This next one is from a bundle called Sweet Old Friends. It has a really fun Winnie the Pooh theme, and it has coordinating designer series paper called Silly Old Bear. It uses a coordinating paper from Moonlit Flora, which is where some of these papers come from as well. I die cut the label from the Sweet Words and Labels bundle, stamped my images right on top of it, colored it with alcohol-based Stampin' Blends markers. You're going to notice how it's suspended as well. And on the back side, I just reversed it. This time I put the designer series paper here on the right just to play up that beautiful paper image. and then stamped a very simple sentiment on the back. And just like this one, it does stand up and suspend beautifully. It fits in a 5x7 envelope just like this one. Here is my final card. This one uses the Life and Bloom bundle, stamps and coordinating dies. I mixed and matched some words from other stamp sets. Again, I colored it with alcohol-based blends, die cut the bow, and just add a little bit of detail with my alcohol markers there. Beautiful black and white patterns make this card very, very striking and simple. I love black and white because it can go with any color whatsoever. The papers are from the Artisan Sketched Garden. You'll see here on the back side, designer series paper, stamped a little bit of the coordinating image that's in my vase from the front. And again, just like the others, you'll see that the image suspends forward for this card to stand freely. 5x7 worked really great for this card. I attempted to make this an A2 size, 4¼ by 5½, and I was so underwhelmed with the results. It was very, very bulky, and the pieces were so small that you really couldn't emphasize the bow pattern of this amazing pop-up card. As always, I'd love to know your favorite. Pop down in the comments right now and let me know which one of those cards that you favor. Which special person are you going to be creating this for? I love to read your comments. If you love to know about free shipping and other promotions, and of course, everything happening here at Lisa's Stamp Studio, head over to my website and scroll all the way to the bottom. That will sign you up for my free weekly e-newsletter. Not only will I keep you informed, I'm going to keep you inspired. Speaking of inspiration, how about ideas that are not shared anywhere else? My Stamp Studio memberships do just that. Every Monday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, right to your inbox, I'm going to send you a brand new project and tutorial not seen or shared anywhere else. Best of all, it doesn't matter what country you live in, and the projects and tutorials are not watermarked. So if you're a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, you are welcome to use these ideas for classes or clubs. There are 2 levels to choose from. Level 1 is just $5 for the whole month, and every Monday morning you'll receive a brand new project idea. Level 2 is $10 a month, and it includes everything in Level 1, but you're also going to get a monthly fun fold card tutorial as well. In addition to that, you're going to get a discount code for my PDF tutorial library, and everyone in Level 2 is automatically included in 5 of our monthly giveaways. If you're interested, you'll find all the information over on my website in the red menu bar titled Memberships. Before you go, check out one of these other videos so I can keep you inspired. If you're brand new here, I'd love to see you subscribe. Hit the like button so that I know that you've enjoyed today's video, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Have a great day.